Hey guys, this is Ian here, and you've been invited to listen to my Unscripted Reflections. So I have some time now, waiting for a buyer to arrive for a listing that I'm viewing together. Now, basically every week, I'm going to let you peek behind the curtain into my private reflections, which I have written on my notes. So hopefully, you can also learn and extract the lessons from my reflections and maybe grow 1% better than yesterday. So today's reflection is actually a follow-up from last week. So go watch that first if you haven't done so already, so that you have some context on what I'm going to be sharing today. Now, last week, I briefly talked about the 4 steps towards positive change. And these 4 steps have been something that I formulated since I was in secondary school. And I only fully finalized the steps when I was in university. So what are they? Number 1, it is to recognize the problem. Number 2 is to acknowledge that there's a problem. Number 3 is to find a solution to the problem. And number 4 is to take action on this solution. Now, all these 4 steps are crucial. And if you skip any one of the steps, you will usually end up stuck. So most of you listening to this, if you are stuck in whatever situation in life right now, and I really mean whatever situation, it is a very high possibility that you have not properly followed the steps that I'm about to share with you. Now, am I going to be shocking to you to know that 80% of people actually don't even make it past step 1? So what is step 1? It is to recognize that there is a problem. So 80% of people don't even recognize that there's a problem. And sometimes they themselves are the problem. And the reason why is because they're hindered maybe by their egos, their focus on being right, their fears of looking stupid, or maybe even embarrassment. Now, imagine driving a car without knowing what's the end destination, right? You'll just be stuck driving endlessly without going anywhere. That's why recognizing that there's a problem is so important. And it's actually so simple to do so. You only need one of 2 things that I'm going to be sharing with you. First thing is actually self-awareness or a good friend, mentor, partner, or spouse. So if you are someone who already has very high level of self-awareness, chances are that you would have already proceeded to step number 2 lah. Okay, but for most people who don't have a very high level of self-awareness or not high enough, that's why having someone to play the devil's advocate in your life is so important. So the next time someone insults you or gives you feedback, yes, I can understand that your emotions might kick in at first, but consciously remind yourself to evaluate and recognize if there's any problems present. So step 1 is done. Now let's proceed to step 2. So step 2 is acknowledging that there is a problem. So of the 20% that make it past step 1, a good majority will just get stuck here. Now, how do I know this? Let me give you some examples. Why do people with heart problems continue to eat oily, fried food despite warnings from the doctor that there's going to be a detriment to their health? Why do underperforming students continue to laze around at home despite repeated advice to study hard? Now, even you listening to this, maybe you're smoking and you realize that you're actually coughing more, your stamina is affected, your breath stinks, and yet you still continue to smoke. So I'd rather be the bad guy over here to give you the feedback in hopes that you will eventually improve. And when it comes to acknowledging the problem, you only need one thing: humility. You need to be humble enough to admit that you have a problem and accept it. Only then can you progress on to the next step. Now, I realize this video is getting too long, so I'm going to be sharing with you steps 3 and 4 on maybe the next episode of Unscripted Reflections. Now, if you like the content I'm sharing with you, please, it would really help me if you could like and share this post so more people can hear these reflections that I'm making and also improve themselves. Now, also, if you are listening to this, do share with me your own reflections from what I've just shared, because I want to interact and I will reply every single comment I read. Now, this has been really very therapeutic for me as much as it has been for you. So I hope this leveled you 1% more than yesterday. This is Ian Teo, and I'll talk to you soon.